Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. I, Dr. Nilakshi Jain, on behalf of Shan and Kakachi Engineering College, welcomes you all in an international webinar series. I'm research coordinator in SAKEC and I would like to welcome each and everyone those who have joined today's webinar. As a moderator, I would like to invite Ms. Radhika ma'am to start the session. She will be moderator for today's session. So after the webinar, she will be asking questions from the speakers and she will introduce the speaker too. I'll request Radhika ma'am to take over the session, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I, Radhika Fuljale, webinar coordinator on behalf of Shah and Anchor Kachi Engineering College, Mumbai, India, welcomes you all in a hybrid webinar series of innovative and emerging technology in the field of research. This international webinar series is hosted with total 25 plus national and international collaborators and special mention of our international collaborator, University of North America. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker, who is going to tell something about top competitive and marketable IT certification. This is a subject in which we should all be interested because nowadays certification plays important roles. And we are really privileged that this topic is going to deliver by Mr. Glenn Garcia. Our speaker is educational business developer at University of North America. He is secondary education leader and key contributor with over 15 years of experience. He has been an education and career coach to students and corporations related to the information technology field, such as big data, cloud, cybersecurity, networking, and project management. He has served as subject matter expert and advisor for student related services and operations in the College of Information Technology and IT certification field. He has over 10 years of experience working with military programs and has designed and implemented IT certification preparation training at the University of North America. His previous role has included academic counselor and senior education counselor, assistant director of admissions, IT corporate consultant, project manager, senior program manager, and education business developer. I'm sure this 1 hour session will be the best session for all of us. Before handover, I have some announcement for the attendees. All attendees, if you have any query, please write in Q&A box. Frequently asked question will be asked at the end of the webinar and feedback link will be provided in chat box at the end of webinar. Now I request our speakers please take over. Hello sir, can you share your screen?
Good morning. Yes, let me share my screen now. Okay, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes sir.
All right, perfect. Well, I want to first thank you for this opportunity. I want to say thank you to everyone that is joining us today. I'm excited to be here, talk to you about the certifications and particularly in the information technology field. Over the years of my career, I've realized that I've become a life coach while working in the IT field as an education advisor, consultant, and developer. I've taken my roles, my job serious by advising and counseling students. And I realized that from the very beginning, this job was not an easy job or ordinary, but one that influences lives in many ways. And I take pride on the research, the development, understanding of the information that I provide as I'm providing to you. And I understand that the information could change, and currently through training, best practices, and additional information that's being published. So I'm going to encourage you to do the same. Do the research. We have to understand that, like the world, it evolves and education changes. especially in the information technology field. So with that, again, want to thank you, and I'll get started with the presentation. So on deck, what we're going to review today is the certification training. We'll also talk about the top marketable and competitive certification, the top paying certifications that are out there currently, career pathways to be able to obtain those jobs with those certifications, the types of training that is out there, and also programs that will lead you, whether they're degree or non-degree pathways. So I want to just touch base and define what certifications are. And I believe that this is crucial to understand the difference between a certificate, a license, and a certification. And I'll speak only to certifications, but it's important that we understand that a certification is an occupational credential awarded by a professional association or certifying board. Cisco, if you heard of Cisco, they offer the certified Cisco technician, certified Cisco network associate, so on and so forth, and also Project Management Institute, or PMI. They offer the certified associate project manager and the project management professional. So based on individual demonstrating through an examination process that they will acquire designated knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform a specific job. So certification is a time-limited credential. This is important because it makes you marketable. So you have to stay current, right? And you have to stay current. So in order for you to maintain this certification, you have to recertify or provide some kind of new education. And it's important in the IT field, right? So certification exams are also designed at a different experience level. So they are for those who are interested in IT at a beginner stage, and then you could go into an intermediate stage for those who are already working and just want to sharpen their skills, and then advanced for those who already maybe have been working there for several years, so you could get certifications at more advanced. So, and we'll talk about that more in detail on down the presentation. But the beauty about information technology is that you could choose a degree pathway or a non-degree pathway. And one example is a student that I talked to who was working for Starbucks. She actually had was trying to do college. Life happens, hit some barriers and hurdles. When we talked about the growing field of IT. She took 3 certifications, which was the Security Plus, Certified Ethical Hacker, and AWS. But with those 3 certifications and no degree, just accumulate credit, she was able to go into IT field. She started as a level 1 or tier 1 desktop, but was able to gradually increase a lot faster with the right credentials. So it's important that you understand that. In many schools, once you pass and have an active certification, will consider those as either life experience or college level credits. So it's important that we understand that right now it's a growing field. The certification meets market demands and skills gap. So we'll go in detail into skills gaps, what it means in the growth, especially with government directives, right? Usually universities in the United States, or even companies, they will follow what the government poses, right? And one of the things that the Department of Defense, they did a baseline certification. If you're working in the IT field, especially, particularly in the cybersecurity space, there are certifications required for you to do a specific level job performance. So if you do not have them, then you cannot do that role. So it's important that we follow and understand those technology standards and trends that are happening. So when we talk about top marketable competitive certifications in the IT field, we want to look at employment of computer and information technology occupation. It's projected to grow 12%, and in some areas it's actually above 15%. From 2018 to 2028. So right now is a good time, right place to go into IT. because it is a much faster projection than all occupations if you look at it in a holistic scope. These occupations are projected to add about 546,000 new jobs. The demand for these workers will stem from greater emphasis on cloud computing, collection of storage for big data or big data, and information security. If you look at it salary-wise, the median annual range for computer and information technology occupations, and we're looking at holistically, is about 88,000. And this was pulled in May of 2019. So it is a higher median of annual wage of all occupations, which is 39,000. So certifications could add value to your education or just to your experience in IT. And again, the source that I pull it out is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Looking at top certifications, doing research currently, trends change, but this was pulled out for this year. Top paying certifications and certifications that require some experience. You'll notice at the top, you'll require some kind of experience to be able to obtain that certification. There's different levels. You usually will start with foundation, then you go into associate, then you go into either professional, and then either developer and architect. So there's different levels. The higher level, as you can tell, pays high average of salary. So you see that one of them that is associated, it's a low-level certification, is the Certified Solutions Architect that pays well. Another one is project management that you want to look at. Again, you'll need some experience, and it's a higher level. ITIL Foundation, however, is not one that is difficult to obtain, and it's usually rudimentary certifications that applies pretty much to all IT and project management. So I would encourage you to do a little bit of research, particularly on the fields that you're going into, if you have a salary goal or salary range that you want to reach. There's different career pathways and roadmaps. One of the things that when I counsel either corporations or students is because there's different IT organizations, different platforms, I encourage you to either run a research by visiting Amazon Web Services and looking at their particular career pathways to show you how to go from beginner to professional or developer. Some examples are AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. Next would be developer, so on and so forth. Garcia has their own career pathways that branches off. So I'm going to encourage you to research it, or I could share a link with you if you all reach out to me. Oracle, they have their career pathway. Red Hat, Microsoft, and so does project management. I'm not going to go into all of them, but again, as you're looking and setting up those goals, I encourage you to visit these IT providers. Certification preparation courses. There's many institutions nowadays that offer certification courses. Designing and developing, I think it's important that as you're trying to obtain this credential, when you're looking for universities, you could look at universities that either offer boot camps, and this is very typical. It's actually popular where you get quick training so that you're able to take the exam and obtain the credential as best as you can in an immediate time. There are some colleges now recognizing the demand and the skills gap, and they're mapping that course into the curriculum. So College Bearing course is applied with his IT certification. And I'll give you an example. The University of North America, if you were to do a Master of Cybersecurity, not only do you get a degree, right, but you also will get the ability to take and prepare for 3 exams. It'll be the Cloud Plus, Security Plus, and the Certified Ethical Hacker. So again, it's a degree plus you get the training, subject matter experts to be able to plus and obtain these certifications, because again, these certifications, they're important. And I will give you an example working with corporations. I worked with a student that had, again, just accumulate credit. He actually came from Nigeria, came here, started working as a desktop support tier 1, lost his job the second year, and obtained 2 credentials. One was the Security Plus and the Certified Ethical Hacker. And it did take 6 months, although these boot camps are about a month long. Sometimes they're shorter than a month long. But he studied, he passed the exams within 6 months. And by the end of the year, he did show me a offer letter that gave him, I believe it was a $104,000 opportunity job. So IT certifications, they do make a difference, whether you have a degree or not, because there is a shortage, there is a skills gap that's being met. When you look for these certifications, I'm going to encourage you to look at that it includes subject matter experts, someone that has experience and the active credential that's teaching, so that you get the best information. Materials is also important. You want to look for maybe cheat sheets, formulas, or graphs that will help you understand this information, whether it's made in mnemonics so that you can memorize it, so when you come to the exam, it's easier for you to apply. You also want to make sure that they have test banks, right? You want to make sure you're checking and then your knowledge, and making sure you could go back and reference the material to strengthen your knowledge to be able to pass the exams. There's many sources like mobile apps, podcasts, videos that are used also to kind of help you and stay engaged with material. But you also want to look at organizations that offer review sessions or retakes. These exams are not super hard, but they're not also super easy. It does take for you to get a good grasp, understanding, for you to obtain these certifications. So I would encourage you also to look at, and this is popular, and this is designing and implementing IT certifications. We've noticed that students prefer instructor-led courses where it's live, right? You get to talk to them. If something doesn't make sense, you're able to ask questions and ensure that you're following them or understanding the material. The process of obtaining certifications is when you do a course, typically the average could be a 2-day session training, like the Certified Scrum Master, to a 4-day training. Typically they're about 8 hours. Once you do the training, you'll have about a month to 3 months to either do an application with the test sponsor, and also in addition, you want to use that time to study and review. Once you feel you're ready, you want to make sure that there's some kind of check, right, a practice assessment or mock exam that you take to simulate what it's going to be when you're in the exam, so you're better prepared. Many times these assessments will give you a percentage, and so find out what that percentage is to help you know that you're ready to pay and take that exam. Once you take the exam, once you become certified, right, you maintain this certification, and in order for you to keep it, again, these certifications will expire within up to 3 years. So you have to continue doing continuing education units or professional development in that area in order for you to stay with it. And that's important because I've talked to many students that obtained a certification over 3 years ago. However, they can't get that job opportunity today because they let it expire. And usually when you let something expire that involves an assessment, things change, especially in technology. Like I said earlier in the introduction, the exams don't get cheaper, they don't get easier. And so for that reason, I highly encourage you, once you obtain it, it's important that you maintain it, right? So make sure you meet the professional development units, you meet the continuing education units to maintain that certification for all that effort, all the money, the time that you spend to obtain them. So one of the things that the University of North America offers is not only the degrees in the example that I talked about, right, but non-degree pathways. So it could be that a student maybe just graduated from high school and they want to work and do college. That is actually something that is done quite frequently. Work and go to school at the same time. Nowadays, you could do classes online, and which allows you to work. You could do certifications, work while you go to school. And so these are certain programs. I'm not going to go over all the programs, but these are some programs that the University of North America has designed and will be having up shortly. So not only can you take single courses, but you could take these certifications or these programs into 3 to make you marketable, such as, for example, the IT support specialist. You would take 3 certifications. It's about 4 months long. To be able to obtain those certifications, become marketable in that field. So with that, I will end the presentation, and if you have any questions, I'll have some few minutes to answer those.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Glenn, for enlightening us on the presenting the right way to introduce to the top competitive and marketable IT certifications that you have just told us. And yes, we do have few questions that I'd like to ask from on the participants on the attendees side. So the first question is, sir, can you please guide on how to check whether any certification is having global recognition or not?
I think that's a very good question. A very good question. I'm just going to repeat it to make sure I understood you correctly. So, are these certifications globally recognized? And the answer is yes. So most, if not all, are globally recognized. As a matter of fact, the ITIL, which stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library, is actually designed. It was designed in Britain, but it's recognized here in the United States. So yes, these are globally recognized. So very good question. Now the pay is going to be different. I mainly did the research for the United States. So salary, again, is going to be different. That's additional research that I encourage the student to do regarding the area they live in.
Okay, sir. And quickly, next question. In this situation of COVID, if we physically cannot travel at places, then which courses should we opt for the certifications?
Great. That's another great question. I believe that with what's happening with COVID-19, it really changed the way of teaching, but there's so many platforms. Most can be taught through internet, right? And the courses that are more advanced, those are going to be typically a little bit harder for you to actually take the exam in person. However, there are some testing centers that are open. So again, the training right now, most is done online. But when it comes for you to test, you go to an area or testing center where it's proctored, and that is when you go into the more advanced information technology certifications where you run into challenges, because those are a little bit more challenging. And I'll give you an example. CompTIA offers, and I'll go to one of the basic and well-recognized certifications, A+, that you could actually do the training online. You get the material online, you get the assessments online, video, it's live training, it's instructor led, and then when it comes to the exam, you could actually take the exam online. You don't have to go to a testing center. They were able to accommodate that. Not every certification is designed that way. Now, when you go into, for example, taking the project management professional, and that you do require to go to a institution or a testing center to take that exam. The training could be done through online, but when it comes to taking the exam, at this point, from what I understand, it has to be at a facility. So I think that's an awesome question. If you're going in beginners, more than in an entry level certification, you more than likely could do the training and the test online. When you go intermediate to advanced, those become a little bit more challenging. You do have to look for organizations. So planning is going to be important. So very good question. Thank you for asking that.
So I guess initially when the students are in the beginners level, social distancing is being maintained.
Right, exactly. And to add to that, for example, the University of North America, we have a testing center, and we've been open for the past month. And what we've done is we have met COVID precautions by having sanitary stations, where you could wash your hands from the minute you come in to the minute you go into the testing center. So in addition to that, we have 14 stations that you can test. We've limited them to give you the social distance space to where you could only take 4 candidates at the time. So it gives you the social distance. In addition to that, we screen our candidates and we ask them if they have personal protective equipment to bring that, right, like mask or gloves. When they come in, there's a measure against social distancing, but if someone comes in without a mask, we offer that here so that we protect not only the candidate, but we protect us, because the key is we're one of the few in this region to offer that exam. But if there were to be a case, for example, we'd have to go into quarantine. That would bring that down. So we have to take every precaution, every measure to protect everybody. But hopefully that gives you an answer to your questions for how we deal with COVID-19 at this time, especially with IT and training and testing.
Yes, sir. There's one more question, sir. Apart from PM, that is project management, which is the other certification which you would suggest related to project management?
So project management is it's an awesome certification. The more recognized is the PMP, right? The professional management or the project management professional. There are some requirements as far as experience before you take that one. The associate levels, it's the certified associate project manager, but there are also CompTIA offers a project plus as well. When it comes to agile training, there is the certified Scrum Master as well. Many students, and the University of North America, we've designed one where it gives you 3 certifications. You'll go to understanding, doing an IDLE exam, understanding process, which is aligned with project management, to go into the Scrum, and then either going to the certified associate, which is more entry level. And there is a difference in pay, just so you guys understand that if you have a CAPM, you're looking between 40 to 60,000 in the United States versus someone who has experience is anywhere between 80,000 up to 120,000. But the exam is a lot more challenging. But yes, so my encouragement, if you're coming in with little to no experience, it would be the certified associate project management, and then lead up to the project management. And it does 2 things doing this in entry. We try to avoid it, right? Because we don't want you to pay extra, but if you don't meet those requirements, then it also helps you as continuing education to maintain that certification and also improve and have higher success rate. So hopefully this helps you with project management. There are different project managements. The more well recognized is the PMP that offers more money. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I guess so, sir. I think there's one more question, sir. As we have time, I think I can take a few more. Do you mind?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to answer questions.
Yeah. So the question is, now in COVID-19 situation, do we have to fear for less salaries due to the economic fall in every country?
So I believe, and again, this is my opinion and my experience, right, with COVID-19. I think, there is advantages and disadvantages, and this is something, I guess that we have to learn how to work with it. I don't believe that this is going to be a constraint for a long time. I think it's going to be a constraint for a period of time, but just through history, I believe we'll overcome it. And I believe that um, even now there's opportunities in different areas, from working remote um, to using that time wisely to train, right? If you're at home, or if you want to use that to get those credentials, because there will be a time, and this is looking at the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. We know that in 10 years, IT is right now, the jobs are rising, but by 2027, 2028, it will peak and go down. So I believe there's a lot of things we could do with COVID-19. I believe that once COVID-19 is over, the areas there's vaccines, and we take precautions and we kind of deal with it. I believe that the market will increase again, but right now we're kind of contemplating, there's advantages and disadvantages, right? So I think just being optimistic and using time to study, I think to prepare once we come back to what we call normal. And what those normal terms will be is quite unclear yet, but I believe that that opportunity globally will rise again. So although we're going through some challenges, now is the time to study and use that time wisely, but and prepare for the change. But hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so there's one more last question I want to ask you. Are there any exam charges or complete course charges different for candidates from different countries?
So I don't know the different countries, but just to talk generally, and that's a great question. I would just suggest to do research based on where they're doing training. One of the things that I recommend is when you go to the training preparation facility to get the certification training, I would encourage you to ask, right? In addition to making sure that you have subject matter experts, material, test banks, you want to ask, is your test exam included in there? There is a fee to take the exams. Many times when you pay for preparation training, that's included. Many times it is not included. So I think it's a good question. It's a question that regionally you have to go, whoever's going to be training you, and ask that individually, right? Is this included?
So
Good question.
majority of the yes, sir. I just in the continuation of the same question. So majority of the times it's going to be the same for the home student as well as the student who's going to come from outside, right?
Right. It's as far as cost, there's no difference if you were to do it internationally or if you do it locally. The cost should be the same. I mean, but every institution has their own guidelines, and I'm mainly speaking for the University of North America, right? But there should be with the University of North America, there's no cost difference when you sign up for the IT training and or if you pay for the exam.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the information that you have given us. So here's a small token of appreciation from Shahan and Kakachi Engineering College. Sir, I would please like you to accept it.
Thank you, ma'am. Accept it with great pleasure. It was an honor talking to you, and thank you so much for your time.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Glenn, we owe you a special word of thanks as well because of the person who has actually made it happen, Mr. Kirit Udeshi from the University of North America. We really appreciate, sir, your efforts, and I would take this opportunity that uh, and ask you to say something, please. Kirit, sir?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just a
Okay.
second.
Oh, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Glenn Garcia. Is an excellent, knowledgeable person who knows and who has designed many of this certification program at University of North America. And as he was emphasizing, I think something that even other universities in US are also looking into it, that integrating this kind of certification program within their education. Now, why it's important? Because anytime we go into the real field, every university has a different way of teaching. Every university's level is different. But when we take this some industry certification programs, that tells the employer that what level of education you have, what level of experience you have, level of knowledge you have. So based on those certifications, and as he mentioned that many of our classes are integrating some of this certification kind of training as a part of our curriculum, so it makes it very easy when they apply for the job. And that is something the students of Shine and Karkachi Engineering College can also look into further down, that how they can also enhance their own skill set by having this additional certifications. So when they apply for the job, when they apply for any opportunity that they find, how they can make themselves more sellable, more appealable. And that is the whole purpose of today's seminar was. And with the depth of knowledge Mr. Garcia brings, it really emphasizes, and I think I saw it earlier, the slide where he had multiple certifications which are very highly in demand in the industry. And I think even the question that was asked earlier, that due to the COVID, is there any kind of reduction in the pay? In short term, it's always demand and supply. If there are more people available and there are the jobs, then of course the salary can go down a little bit. But as I said, that worldwide the IT demand is growing for at least next 5, 7, 10 years, and based on that, their salaries should go up. This is unprecedented time of this COVID. So this bump or like a small blimp we're seeing in this industry is not going to last that long. So one should not worry about the short term. They should look into the long term, and looking at the long term would make a huge difference. And that is what Mr. Garcia was trying to emphasize. So I'm really glad we at the University of North America are very proud to work with Shine and Karkachi Engineering College. We are so happy that we have done the MOU with your college. And as I mentioned yesterday, that we were looking to kind of host faculty and students at our college. But now with this COVID, it's been deferred a little bit, but it's not canceled. And that's a good thing. Again, in September or January or April, we have like a 4 semesters per year. We start January, April, July, and end of September. We have 4 intakes. So whenever any of the students are interested to join, can write to us. They can reach out to your Nilakshi ma'am or any one of them at your college and reach out to us, and we'll be glad to help you. Anyone who wants to come and study here, as well as we are looking to collaborate with your college to work together to have some classes at Shine Anchor and the remaining classes here. So whatever we can do to make the life easier for everyone. And I want to thank Ansh Ved as well as Nilakshi Ben Jain to make this possible for us to kind of reach out to your students, reach out to your research faculty, reach out to the other people who are joining this webinar, and being able to share what we feel, how our education system here in the United States works, and what are the values that we can offer, and looking forward to more and more collaboration with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, for an announcement for the attendees now, we have shared the feedback link in the chat section. You can kindly access it from there. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Sure. Bye-bye.
We have also displayed the schedule for tomorrow. You can just have a link, have a view at it. Thank you.